And welcome to more conversations with the average black man. I am Timotheus, and I'm here with my co-host Morphine.
Thank you. Thank you.
And today we jumping right into the nitty gritty with this whole sexual marketplace conversation. Because today I'm the one calling cap. I'm calling cap because there's a lot of folks out here that think they worth something. They ain't worth a quota. No,
They ain't worth a
I'm,
dime. They ain't worth a penny.
I'm saying like this whole sexual marketplace value get down has gotten this whole craze of people trying to define a person's worth based on some things that are actual, but well, all of it is actual, but they just don't apply it to themselves. That's what I'm calling cap on. You think just because you got a job and you make good money that you a catch? No, you got a beer belly, you got a receding hairline, you got a tooth missing right here on the back. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like knock it
Yeah.
off, knock it off. Same with the same on the other side. Yes, ladies, I'm sorry to inform you, having a bunch of children by a bunch of different men makes you less desirable. And guess what, fellas? You having a bunch of baby mamas and a bunch of kids makes you less desirable too. Yes, it applies to everybody. It is not something that's selective. Yeah. You got anything to add, Morphine?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I also believe that there's a lot of double standards in this sex market value, and today we're going to break it down. We're going to start with some vids, some clips, some reactions, and we're going to go from there. Um, I have my opinions once we get into it.
All right, let me see because I got back to the house late. Let me see if I can pull my phone up on my computer. So let's see. I can't even see what's what. Dang it. Sing a song until I get it together. Sing a song. Sing a song. Sing a
Well,
song.
listen, I can entertain the people for a second. Listen, people. Today's show, we really going to dive deep into some of the I guess you would say, the ideologies that people have, the delusions from male to female, and the things that just don't make any sense. There are some double standards that we will point out that there are double standards, but for the most part, we're just going to get into this thing. Did you pull it up? Is that enough time?
Don't even worry. Don't even worry about it. I hope we can. I hope the sound work.
It's
All right,
in the
so
middle. Oh, that's the minute mark you wanted to start off of.
no, I'm gonna rewind it back. I think that's just how the screenshot look. Actually,
That shit is 40 minutes long.
I know we ain't paying 40 minutes. We about to play the clip. The clip. See
Oh,
this right
I
here. Say 122. 122.
oh
Yeah, a minute
I
and
know.
22 seconds. Yeah, mind your business.
Sorry, my bad.
I'm gonna need you girls with kids to realize that you ain't got that many options. You lucky we even here. I mean, options is low. You better get what you can get. You're lucky. Cause I just want y'all to think. Y'all be wanting dudes that's single, no kids, not entertaining no other female, but you got two baby fathers. And we supposed to pick up their responsibility and we have no kids. I just need y'all to process that. Like, we don't have to be here. Message.
Without even realizing it, he gave the game away. You notice how many times he said lucky? That's what it is. They want you to feel lucky. They want you to feel lucky that somebody like them would want you and you have kids. Lucky that somebody like them would want you and you have a high body count. Lucky that somebody like them would want you and you're plus size. They always want you to feel lucky. Why they want you to feel lucky? Because again, he gave the game away. You want us to be faithful? They want you to feel lucky to be with them so they could dog you out. They really want you to settle for them, but they're trying to convince you that they're settling for you. Just because she has kids doesn't mean she doesn't have standards. They always jump on the internet and try to make it seem like their preferences are every man's preferences. Not every man wants a single mother. That's true. But not every single mother wants every man either.
But not once
Hey,
did that man lie.
not once did that man lie. So she lost me when she was like, they want a dog. You see, she immediately went to that. Because for one, he said absolutely nothing wrong. That man said not one thing wrong. He said not one thing. I'm gonna say it again. He said Not one thing wrong at all. And her point was valid too when it came to preferences. So yes, you are lucky if you come across somebody where you fit their preference, because everybody got a whole lot of preferences.
Well, that's I guess the misplacement of the word luck was the issue, because like you said, everybody is lucky if you fit that person's preference, whether it's a single mother, a single father, whatever. But having those type of, I guess you would say, like contingencies, even if she wasn't a single mom, there is other disqualifiers that would make men be like, no, I'm good. So,
Right. But like I said, I'm calling a spade a spade. He was not wrong. She was not wrong. She stretched it when she went to that so they could dog you out. That was her own personal experience. See, the thing about it is preference only becomes an issue for the person when you like somebody, but you don't meet their preference. So now you gotta shame them. So if it's a chick that I want to get with and I'm trying to holler at her and she disses me, oh, now I got preferences all over. I didn't even like you like that all about the way. You should be lucky I'm trying to holler at you in the first place with your kids and all of that. And vice versa.
I mean, women do the same thing when they get with a guy and they break up with him.
Right. I ain't even talking about breaking up with him. I'm just talking about it vice versa. If it's a dude that, you know, a heavy set girl feeling, she wanted to push, she hear him say, you know, I don't do the big girls. Oh, why? She gonna feel some type of way, because preference only becomes an issue to a person when they don't meet the preference of their preference. So,
okay,
you know what I mean? So,
okay,
say that I look the way that I look, right? And I'm like, my preference is, what's a pretty movie star?
Your preference could be like
Tiana Paris. I'm gonna say the one that I like, Tiana Paris. Right? Tiana Paris wouldn't piss on me if a goddamn jellyfish bit me on the face. You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality of it. You know what I mean? I would be a fool to say I'm settling if I can't get me that.
So back to the point where men, do you think that men feel like when they, even if they are a single father and they're dating a single mother, because she's a single mother, they may feel as though that he's settling for her and she is lucky to have him, because, you know, most men don't want single mothers. Like, it's a general statement that is trying to be made a factual statement.
The same rules apply either way. I was a single dad, and I understood that for me to get with a woman that don't have no kids, I was lucky. Yes, because I wasn't the best option. I wasn't. She could easily go get somebody that didn't have no kids just like her and could have started a brand new family. The same exact argument you hear the men make. But for some reason, magically, it don't apply when it's men. It
magically evaporates on that note. When it comes down to the sex market values,
it's foolish.
Let's go to our next clip.
All right, let me see what I got going on. What I got there.
You had several of those up there,
right? And they all different though. I look like my wait. Are you? Is it? What's going on? What's this one? What is this one?
Sounds bad.
Okay, let's see. Now take it off the screen. Oh yeah, I'll take it off the screen. They all over the place. We reacting, but it's all on the same. It's all on the same note.
All right.
Not only do so many men not care to date a single mom, but so many men value that. Dating as a single mom, you don't want to look for somebody that's just willing to deal with your kid or just okay with them. You want to find somebody that views your child as a blessing, as a bonus to the situation, and they exist. I became a single mom shortly after having my baby. I really wasn't looking for a relationship, but I did not think that it would be easy to find somebody that was wanting to date me, but that is just so far from the truth. I'm here to tell you. It does come with certain aspects that can be intimidating. I have certain rules set for myself that can be a little bit challenging to navigate. I have a certain amount of time set or longer, whatever feels right, before I bring someone into my child's life. Now, this can be kind of stressful, especially if you're dating someone who has never dated a mom before or doesn't have kids themselves, because you're building this connection with them alone, and then eventually it comes time to introduce them to that aspect of your life, and you don't know how they'll react. They don't know how they'll react. It could be too much for them, but that's just part of the risk of dating as a mom. And that's why it is so important to maintain boundaries with them, with yourself. Don't get too attached to them. Make sure you're happy on your own. Just view it as fun. Don't be guarded. Keep an open heart, but be mindful. Know that no matter what happens, you're good. You've had this on your own. You can keep having it on your own. We're all kick-ass moms, single moms. Rise.
I want to find someone.
I can say when I was, I can say it's not hard dating as a single mother. I don't know what that came from. I think that came from men that dated single moms and their relationship didn't work out well, or guys that guys might date black women and it didn't work out well, or you might date a Latina, it didn't work out well, so all of a sudden all Latinas ain't shit. And I'm not going to say one guy, it's maybe a group of them and maybe a few of them, but it's not majority. And they make it a general statement. Same thing with women, thinking that majority is kidless guys would want to be with a woman that has children. I think the age matters too. So there's that.
See, something she said. She said you want to come get a guy that's going to see your child as a blessing. That's what the other dude said in the last video. Let's be honest. She will be lucky to come across a dude that's going to take her in her children and love her children like they're his own. That's because that's not his job. He has no obligation to that. And vice versa. I got to keep the 60-40 going. And
vice versa. So there's those dynamics, I like I said, I just think that once a few people in these categories have bad relationships with whomever, they had a bad relationship, everything gets generalized. But the delusion is thinking that you ain't lucky. You're lucky that you fit somebody's preference. That's going to be the slogan of the show. You're lucky you fit somebody's preference, regardless of what the hell you got going on and what baggage you done toted it along with you in this relationship. So,
yeah. Right. And for everybody that's watching it or whatever, if y'all want to come on the stage, look in the comments on all three YouTube platforms. That's where the link is at to come up to the stage and talk your jazz. So this is me. I gotta throw this out there because there's a lot of people that feel like it's different. And I was a single dad, so I can say it is different when you're a single dad versus a single mom. But I'm not going to pretend like having children doesn't lower a man's value just like it lowers a woman's value. And for those that want to use celebrities as examples, like Nick Cannon and Cam Newton, all of them, those are millionaire dudes. The average Joe can't relate to them. So there was this episode of Iyanla Vanzant, and all of these baby dolls represent how many children this dude had. This dude got like 30 kids by like 17 different women. Does that mean he's popping? Does that mean that women are knocking down his door like, let's get married, I want to start a family? No. All this tells me is that Buddy got game and don't know what a condom is. So this is tell me.
So to be on the 60-40 argument of this, some would say, I'm not saying my thoughts, this ain't my thoughts, but some would say that these women chose to be with this guy and make all these goddamn babies, knowing that he had all these babies by all these different women. So he had to be somewhat of value. And my challenge is this, with that saying, is the value in the man or in the women that choose him? Do the women that choose him give that man value, or do that man hold value on his own tit?
See, this is where it gets tricky. What is the value? That's where this is where
Yeah.
everybody gets it twisted, because people think they're worth some, because people have self-worth, but that doesn't mean the person on the outside values you for the way you value yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility. Well, for one, with in the case of this guy right here on the screen, number one, we don't know what he told these women, because he could have said, I don't got no kids. Having this many kids, obviously he's not active in all of their lives. That's impossible. You know what I mean? At some point, though, they had to know that he had at least 3-4 of them, and they still made that choice.
And they still
And
made that choice. Right.
right. But at the same time, there's a lot of possibilities. They could have been like, dang, he got this many kids. He must got the magic stick. I want to check out the magic stick, and vice versa. They got men that deal with women that have football teams of kids too, and say, well, she must got that hot fire. Is it that hot fire, baby? You know what I'm saying?
Man. Let's welcome Maurice to the panel. Welcome, Maurice.
I'm
What's
gonna go
going on? What's going on, people? Good to see y'all.
Good to see you too, Maurice.
All right, let me go refill my cup. Just hold it down. What you got to say, Maurice? What you think?
Well, I mean, y'all was speaking about value, right? I think that was the last
Sex
thing I
market
heard.
value.
What's that?
Sex market value.
Yeah, no, I know, but you was talking about value, right? The value in general. And I think people like to forget that men and women dictate value very differently. And we get our values whichever sex you are from the opposite gender. So you could be literally the greatest woman or man in the world, by your metrics, but if nobody wants you, you are of low value. And that's what actually determines your market value. It's your desirability. It's in a sense, it's like a popularity contest.
So the
So
value is dictated on who wants you, not who
that's
you are, but
yeah,
who wants you.
yeah, not the reality and the content of who you are, but whether that person wants you. Like, I mean, we love people get criticized for comparing women to cars or to dogs or to whatever object, but the math is the same. Whether even for women when they're choosing men, um, if I'm going to choose a car, I need to want that car. You know what? Bentleys are beautiful vehicles. They're gorgeous to look at. I don't want one. The majority of people may want one, but they realize, you know what? There's want and then there's want, right? There's a certain like, all right, okay, I want it, but in the same sense, it's like, you know what? That's too much. In the same sense, too, some people don't want a beat down, you know, piece of trash car either. That's the muffler hanging down for it. They don't want that, right? So that's why Toyotas and Hondas sell so well, is because that's what people want. Something that's reliable and can do whatever. Would they rent a Ferrari? Of course they'd rent a Ferrari, but they don't want a Ferrari, because wanting a Ferrari means you got to put gas in that Ferrari. You got to pay the bill to that Ferrari. You got to change the oil in that Ferrari. There's a lot to it, and sometimes people get a voile. some people some people get a Ferrari, and then they realize after they get the Ferrari that they don't want the Ferrari.
Right.
But sometimes
The comments, they say he want a test drive, and that's what you're talking about.
exactly. I told you he's a renter. Yeah, well, there's always renters out there.
But in that scenario, let's lose the scenario. Let's lose the scenario. I love the car scenario and fucking with it and debunking it, because it never made sense to compare a woman, not a woman, the vagina, to the car. But let's say that. So
No, it's to compare want. It's not to compare the object. The object's irrelevant. It's the want, and whatever you want is an object.
I mean, we want $1 million, but you can't rent it. You know, you can't rent $1 million. You could rent a Ferrari if you were able to pay for that. You get what I'm
Well, okay.
saying? And if we're saying that, then that means you could rent desire. You could rent that desire. That you could actually buy that sexual market,
See,
which ain't
what is
fucking,
my
far
see
fetched.
what he's talking
Okay,
about?
I think
The
no, I think you're
comparison he's talking
confusing.
about is a comparison. We're not. It isn't a direct comparison of an inanimate object to a human being, and I think that's a lot of time where women get the disconnect because they find it offensive. You're comparing me to it. It's like no. What's It's like it's the act of what of the value of what it is. If you find value in something, you're going to go the extra mile for that thing. But if it's something that you don't value to that degree, you're not going to do it. Like for example, you can have $1 million. Let's just use $1 million. You can have $1 million. You could afford to buy $1 million house, but would you? Or would you buy a $500,000 house or $300,000 house and plush it out? You see, that's the difference. So just because you can obtain that super valuable thing doesn't mean you can maintain that super
That
valuable
super
thing.
valuable thing, right?
And that super valuable thing also comes with attention that you may or may not want or can handle it. And that goes both ways for men and women because not everyone has the same level of security versus insecurity. So if I got a woman and when I met her, she was bam, boom, 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 boom. I noticed her. That's why I was like, oh damn, I gotta go holler. I gotta go shoot my shot. The same way I've noticed, other men are gonna notice. Even if she chooses me, guess what? Like the dude said in that video, I'm lucky because she chose me amongst all the same way I'm looking damn she bad. Everybody looking damn she bad, and vice versa. When women see dudes and be like, damn, he fine, it's other women that's gonna see him and say, damn, he fine. That's just the nature of the things that there are. Now, the value that we place in these individuals is something different because
Absolutely.
I can see this bad super bomb female and not see past. I just want to smash just to say I did it. I don't because I don't want to deal with everything else that comes with it. I don't want to deal with
Absolutely.
the having to deal with men dealing with her because I may not be secure enough to handle that. I might be quick to want to fight everybody. But I still want to smash. So hey,
Can
I'm a
we talk
smash.
about them delusions with women and men that have the high standard or the high value? Can we talk about the high value men and the high value women? If the sexual market is based on how much other people want you, then the high value men and the high value women in the sex market value, like in that market, would be the ones that do breed insecurity to a motherfucker that can't handle that. Those will be the women that you're like, well, you need to dress more modest, or you need to dress different, or you need to look different and present yourself different now that you're in a relationship. So is that like a little breeding of
It's
insecurities,
you're stepping in a different realm when you start talking about the conducts in the relationship. We're just talking about that straight up sexual market value. Honestly, the sexual market value would be equivalent to the renter's market to me. Whereas, because the sexual market value is straight up.
That's that right there on the comment. That's real, and it goes both ways. It is not limited to women; it's both sexes. They
Yeah,
are Hondas. They got Honda Sonatas out here thinking that they Mercedes Benz. You know what I'm saying? Both ways. They got dudes out here that thinking he a Hellcat, Hemi, and all that, but he a Pinto, all of that.
I done forgot what I was saying after I saw that comment.
Right, because it was so real. It was so real.
It was so real, right? Like I said,
Hey,
you start.
everybody watching, don't be scared. I see y'all watching. Click the link in the comments, come up and spill your spiel.
I still think that in the market, when it comes down to men and women, having a good desire for the person it is good, but that doesn't mean it's set there sex market value high. But if it's superficial like that, then it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
I remember what I was saying. The sexual market value is the renters market, right? These are the people that are looking for renting and then or test driving to a certain degree, right? And maybe they got to put gas in the car or whatever to get it to go. But some of these, gas prices for some of these cars out here be asking a little bit too much. So we're like, all right, we're good. We don't want to keep driving that car because it's asking for too much maintenance right off the bat just for a test drive. Like there's no commitment here, right? Whether I take that car home or not, to own it, to care for it, like when it breaks down, I'm gonna fix it, and take care of and keep it. That's a whole different type of market.
Well, that's the
That
market. That's the whole point of the market. You get in the market to get taken home for like forever, not to just stay in the market. Like
But see,
but
this is the
that's the whole
problem
point
though.
of entering the
This is
market. Like,
that's,
this is the
that's what
this
I'm
is the
explaining.
delusion though. This is the delusion that both men and women have. Y'all need co-signers, but don't think you need a co-signer. a
oh well,
lot,
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of people need co-signers. A lot of people are co-signer worth.
Yeah, they owe the bank a lot of money and
Right.
to get something that's out of their price range, their emotional price range, right? Like they can't afford it emotionally. They can't afford it skills wise. They can't drive a stick, and they getting into to a race car. Like you're gonna crash the car. And then when you do crash the car, you're gonna sit there and try to blame the car. No, you can't blame the car.
Well, let's get back into regular conversation, not all these metaphors.
Metaphors metaphors are going
Let's get back in regular conversation outside these metaphors. Can we get to the next clip, sir?
All right. I think the next clip is gonna take us somewhere else though, because I was just grabbing a whole bunch of clips because I thought we was gonna do a reaction show, but we kind of agreed to a topic, but it all still kind of falls within the same category.
You got women that will put that nigga on child support simply because he moved in and he got a new girl. The girl is stressing him out. His baby moms are stressing him out. Now he taking that out on you. You ain't even do nothing to him. It's a lose-lose either way. His baby moms get disrespectful. The chances of him checking her slim to none. You want to know why? If he piss her off in any way, shape, or form, she could go right down to the courthouse. Or she could keep the kid from him. So he got to kind of walk on eggshells. And then as a woman, you don't respect him because it's like, why you don't ever check this?
I really want to just stop talking about dating altogether.
Okay, so I want to unpack that first part first. So
Mhm.
that ties to what we were talking about earlier, how the same issues and that men say they have to deal with dealing with single mothers, women have to also deal with that when dealing with dudes that are single fathers or have baby mamas, because they have to deal with the dynamic of the other woman too. So that other woman could be jealous that he got you, his new girlfriend, and start giving him hell with his baby. And so now he's going to look soft to you because he's bowing down to the baby mama because she's weaponizing that baby against him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that other woman, the baby mama, might try to come fight you, his new woman, because she's jealous. So it isn't a one size fit all. It isn't, well, what do I gain from raising another man's child? That's true. But what does she gain by having to deal with you and all of the issues that you got attached to you? If you got child support and you marry her, guess what? Legally, she's bound to pay your child support. If you miss a payment, they garnish her check. It's like I don't know why we live in this fantasy world that we want to romanticize being the victim. Like men want to be victims too now. Like, oh, woe is me because I got to deal with women, and just like the women are like, woe is me because we got to deal with men. I seen the I should have got that clip because they got a you know how they got the bear and the man in the woods choose the bear or the man or whatever.
Right.
They got one that said, "Men, would you rather be in a desert, trapped in the desert with a woman or with a dog?" And all the men start picking the dog. It's like the dog gonna help me hunt. He gonna sniff out water and help me find water.
So I would like to say this though. I always said that a lot of these conversations, the men are saying the same thing that the women are saying, and the women are saying the same things that the men are saying. So I never understood why the hell could they understand each other. But in these situations where we're talking about men having the upper hand or the leverage of being a single father than a woman does, I do hear a lot of conversations stating that the man doesn't have the children as much as the woman has the children, as if that's a good thing. Now, that's not a good thing that he's not having his children as much as she does, because that means that you may, as the female that is dating this guy, have to deal with the same thing that this clip was suggesting, or I guess she was saying, just basically coming out outright saying, "Yo, listen, we may have to deal with an outrageous baby mama," and that's what I'm saying. Like, look, these things could work both ways. Whether you're a single father, especially if you don't got them kids all the time, that's a clear indicator that you are ruled by your baby mom, versus a single father that has his kid all the time. At least we know where the control lies in. So there's that.
When I hear about this, all I hear is the name of the game is domination. One is trying to dominate the other. Once you have a situation where I mean, you have to understand this was a relationship that failed, and a lot of relationships fail because you have a situation of people being unable to compromise. Now, both, that child is 50-50 as far as, DNA comes concerned. So each person got a 50-50 ownership of that thing. And, if you're trying to dominate one another, there's not go- it basically gets pushed up to the most dominant force in our country, which is the state. And the state rewards the weakest, the one that's presumed to be dominated. And we already know how that falls. Women get that the share all the time. Women and children, right? We already know. Boat, ship, whatever. Women and children are first. They get protected. They are automatically assumed or presumed to be victims. So, I mean, that's kind of how it falls. But it goes back to that whole inability to compromise, because there's an inability to compromise and negotiate appropriately. And so therefore there's this attempt at dominating one another. And then when, the law of the land that controls, who's able to access the full power of that law? The victim. So therefore, you have a bunch of people trying to victimize themselves to be able to access the greater power.
We have two comments here. I want to address both of them. Let's go in. One of the comments by an average man is, there is a smaller percentage of women who have to deal with this, opposed to the men that's dealing with this. I would say that is subjective to the person that is saying it. Everyone says that. On the women's side, they feel as though that they're dealing with a lot of baby fathers. On the men's side, they feel like they're dealing with a lot of baby mothers. If an outsider was looking in, they would say like both sides are very saying the same much. They say the same thing.
That show that these women are having children by the same fathers. So they're all dealing with the same men who are baby fathers.
What you mean? Well, I get what you're saying. The same men meaning being a single father, but not in the same men like for example, my baby father doesn't have 5, 6, 7 baby moms, so we don't share baby fathers, not in that sense, but in the sense of the title of a single father, probably. But that's the passivity or that's what we got around us, should I say. When I walk outside the door, yeah, that word. That's what we got around us, and that's what they have around them. That's what men have around them. They have a lot of single mothers around them. We got a lot of single fathers around us.
I'm
No,
not under
but
objection.
that's real. We can only deal with the people whom are in proximity to us. So both men and women that complain about women are like this and men are like that and all men is this way and all women are that way, that is a reflection to your surroundings and a testament to your current state of development and where you are in life. if if you have this idea that all women wear wigs with baby hair that swoop down right here, that is a testament to where you are in life and where you've only been and you've never ventured outside of that area. Vice versa, if every dude you know is a Pookie or Ray Ray, don't do nothing but sit around and smoke weed, play video games, that is a testament to where you are in life as an individual.
Next
I mean,
time it goes, well, go ahead, Maurice. Go ahead, Maurice.
yeah, yeah. There's definitely. I understand what you're saying. There's definitely a personal responsibility aspect to it, but I don't think that's what the brother was saying. The brother was saying most men have to deal with this than most women. So he's not talking about that's more of a statistical statement in general. He's not talking about personal responsibility in the way that you presented it. Of course, everybody's situation is very different. Um, but if you look at it as a general problem, are men causing this more a problem? It's not that they're not causing the problem. It's like both are causing the problem. But is it more on the men's side or is it more on the woman's side? And I think that's a fair question or fair observation to point out.
I don't know. I don't think I would just straight out say I don't think it's a fair fucking point or observation. That's just trying to deflect off of accountability, and
I got a
it's
60-40.
kind of disingenuous on the low. Like
I got a 60-40. I I I'm pretty sure. This is just my because I'm gonna just pull up the stats before I even say something.
I'm like, because at the same, if we all saying like they're both at fault for this, but one is saying no because men do this more statistically, and the other one is saying women do this more statistically, then no one is going to want to take the blame or just say, okay, we're at fault, let's move on and try this differently. You're just pointing fingers.
You're assuming that just because we're making this observation or this stat, that people don't have the duty, responsibility for their own choices and their own aspect. It's not equivalent. They don't reflect on one another. They're two separate situations, if you want to take it that way.
Why? Why are they two separate situations when we're both saying, well, me and Tim are saying that if for example, we have a single mother and we have a single father, they're no different from each other. Where you're like, well, how many single fathers there are to single mothers? That's not the real question. Nor is that irrelevant to what relevant. I'm sorry, not irrelevant. Nor is that relevant to what is going on. We're just saying they're in the same fucking boat, swimming upstream. But the comment was how many, men have to deal with that, with the single mother shit more so than women have to deal with men that are single fathers. And I'm like, no, I think that's a proximity thing.
No, it's important. All right, so let's take an example, right? If you're looking at this greater stat, like I stated, there's more baby mothers out there than there are baby fathers, point blank, right? And so that means there's more women that are making these poor choices than there are men that are making these poor choices, right?
I don't think that. I just think there are more women having sex than men are.
No, you don't have to think that. That's exactly what it is. It's not a. This is not a debate.
That's a fact as well. More women are having sex than men are. It's to the same men than men are having with women. So that also plays a part in it too, because it's not like men having more disciplined sex than women are. No, they're not having fucking sex at all. So more women are choosing probably the same men. We could take accountability for that shit.
No,
the same men than actually having sex with multiple men.
You took the fact and drew a conclusion. Listen, the fact is the fact.
That's a fact as well.
Those conclusions are different.
It's not a conclusion. That's a fact. It's a fact that women have sex with women have more sex than men. There are more virgin men than there are women. That is a fact.
So more women are having sex. Whether more women are having sex versus men are having sex
We can take that. That's accountability right there.
Doesn't negate the fact that more women are choosing these same men that are not are basically single father or single mother creating potential.
I don't agree to that. I just agree that women are fucking the same men. I would agree to that. But I'm not agreeing that because they choosing those men, there are more, those group of men are more, has more potential to create single father homes. Well, no, I'm sorry, single mother homes, or they are more capable of walking out on the child. That's not a fair assessment to those men. I would not do that.
So the group of men,
I would take accountable that women do have sex with the same group of men.
So the group of men that are not having sex are the ones that are going to be deadbeat fathers, right?
We don't know because they're not creating kids with them.
Exactly. They can't be deadbeat fathers because they can't be fathers because they're not having sex. They're completely removed from the equation. That's a zero in your equation.
Yeah.
You can only talk about the
take it away the possibility just because the sex is removed. We don't know what the possibility is because the sex is removed.
What are you saying? What he's saying is that if it's this, to use something we all familiar with, Steve Urkel, Stefan Urkel. Steve Urkel wasn't getting no pussy from nobody at all, but Stefan Urkel, he had it popping. So we got Steve Urkels that live in the same neighborhood as we got Stefan Urkels. The Stefan Urkels are getting booty. They making babies. Everybody all the girls think Stefan is fine. So Stefan is he's smashing all the girls. And there's a possibility that he's impregnating a whole bunch of different girls. So there's going to be a whole bunch of girls that share this one baby daddy, Stefan. And then Urkel over here rubbing it, beating off.
I never disagree with that. All I disagree with, if you put Urkel in that situation, he would be doing it too, probably. Not that he's less likely to do it if he was in that position. I'm not going to agree to that. That's what I disagree with.
He's less likely because women are the gatekeepers of sex. So therefore, if they don't want to give him no coochie, guess what? He's not going to get no coochie.
That's okay. So we're saying the same thing, just differently.
You're breaking up, Maurice.
Oh, my bad.
Now, what were you saying before you were breaking up?
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Yeah, if you can't father kids, you can't be a deadbeat father. You can't be a second. And then when if criteria that you put in, yes, if we don't know, and that's when it'll happen, if it happens. But we're literally talking about the side because there is no if, because it can't happen because they're not having sex. And if they're not having sex, they're not fathering children. And if they're not fathering children, they cannot be deadbeat fathers. So you can only take into consideration the fathers that are actually, or the men that are actually having sex. Then within that group, then you have to take a consideration of the men that are actually having kids, because you have men that are having sex that are not having kids. Then the men that are having sex and having kids, and then amongst that group is you have this sector of deadbeat fathers, right? Those are the ones that are or could be deadbeat fathers. Those are the only ones you can choose from.
True. I want to say this to single fathers. I don't want to say deadbeat. Just because you're a single father don't mean you're a deadbeat. But single fathers creating, I guess you would say non-nuclear homes. Yes, I never disagree with that. That was never my disagreement. My agreement and my accountability for women was that we properly choose the same dudes that are more sexually active than the others, that are more sexually experienced than the others. That's what we do. It's a natural thing to do.
Okay.
Comment.
Let me pull out some 60-40 for you right now because men are also at fault too. It says at the top, it says him. Why are you telling people we smashed? And she getting ready to say because we did. He like, shut your big ass up. So yes, this is what. So this is also something that us as men, as a collective, have to own. Is that we do crazy stuff too. You know what I'm saying? We can't pretend that we have this moral fucking high ground that we don't have. Because the same women that will talk all of this mess about, say all of this now at 3 o'clock in the morning, you texting her when the baddie don't come through, you texting her, hey, you know, you still want to kick it, and then you get her pregnant. Now you see what I'm saying? Bada bing, bada boom. So I just want to throw this out there to be fair, because like I said in the beginning, I'm the one calling cap this show. This is my calling cap show. So I'm calling cap on everybody. I'm calling the spade a spade. Nobody is innocent. That's my premise. Everybody is at fault.
Agreed with that. But the reality, based on what the comment the man was saying, was that this is more of a problem for men than it is for women, which is an accurate statement.
We was going down. He had more comments than just that.
You need to stop being scared to click the link in the comment and come on this and come onto the stage.
They're scared of their voice.
You know what I'm saying? You see my name right here, bro. I like your screen name, The Average Man. I'm the average black man. We got that. You know what I'm saying? We got a brand going on. What's happening? What's up? We need the network.
He said we got a brand going on. Come network.
Average is the new flex, man.
I never knew why average wasn't the new flex. Average was always a flex to me. I'm like, well, when we was having these conversations about high value man and the average man, no matter how much they tried to downplay, whether it's a woman or a man, tried to downplay an average man, I'm like, he just sounds like the better choice. Like it's obvious.
Before me and you linked up, Morphine, and put our shows together, my very first shows that I did, it explained why I chose the average black man. And it's because all of that KS, the high value man, like, well, what's wrong with the average man? And then that's when I learned this word called coinophobia. And it translates to the fear of living an ordinary life, the fear of being average. And that's what most people have, the fear of being average. But I don't understand why, when our entire lives we've been measured on averages. When you're in school and we take the state testing and all of that, that they got this small green area at the top for, you know, super smart Mickey Fickies. The part in the middle is like this big, and that's the average. And then at the bottom are the not so bright people. You know what I'm saying?
I see your lips try to say the three
You're right. I had to. I didn't want. I had to be politically correct. But the fact of the matter is that most of us are okay landing in that big spot right here. That's the average. When you look at if you look out the window right now, wherever you live, whatever the economic, socioeconomic climate you live in, and you look out the window, everybody is about the average. And everybody has this, you know, is, of course you want to do better. Everyone wants to do better, of course. But there's nothing wrong with being a regular individual. There's nothing wrong with having a little bitty house with a picket fence and all of that. If you just doing that, you're above average. If you got $700 in your savings account right now, you're above average in the United States. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't even have that kind of money. She just threw the stream out
money?
There. No, that
I know.
If you have $700 or more in your savings account right now, you have more money than the average American. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But in that context only of having money in your savings account, because the vast majority of the populace are hourly workers. But let's get back to the get down. I want to finish playing that clip because I had paused it.
It brings me no joy. Like being in the dating pool, it brings me absolutely no joy. The only joy I get is eating a meal at a dinner table. The whole process. Oh, what you doing? Good morning. Like, shut the fuck up. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. It's like I don't get shit out of this, but I just can't stop. I admit I do like the attention. But nothing ever lasts over 2-3 weeks. So it's like I'm tired of going through that cycle too. I don't know. I'm just fucking tired, bro. I'm tired of everything. Like life is just frustrating as hell.
So let me get this straight.
What you talking about, Willis?
What the hell is she talking about?
Right, that's what I was saying. She just said, "I'm tired of dating. I don't get nothing from it, but I get attention and I get to go out to eat."
But even that gets tiresome because that's all I get. I don't get nothing more. You know what? Matter of fact, life is fucking tiresome. I don't just want to do this no more. That sounds like depression.
Yeah, depression comes when there's no meaning. So if you're sticking to all that hedonistic stuff like attention, meal, the experience, this is all fleeting excitement. It's not true contentment. Contentment comes from meaning and like a worthwhile fulfillment, something that you're ready to die for if necessary.
And that's the
And
topic of the
I
show.
don't think she
No, that's the
knows
topic
that.
of the show. No, that's the topic of the show. She only values the individuals that she goes out with for giving her attention and giving her food. That is the value that she places in those dudes. She does
I
not
don't
see
think
the
she
value that
places values in that because she just
no,
said that shit is getting tiresome. That shit sound like depression to
no.
me. Nothing that once brought you joy brings you joy anymore. You don't even like that anymore. That's the only thing you can. If someone asks you after
It's
you
it's
said dating is tiresome, well, what do you
it's
get
getting
out of dating that you like? I get
it's getting
attention and I
tiresome.
get a meal. That doesn't mean I value it. That just means I'm trying to figure out what I get a value in this shit. But even that's
That's
not
the
valuing
value.
anymore. She not even valuing that anymore. So we can't even hold her to that shit. She just depressed.
She's to the point to where she wants more, but I got another clip, I guess, that came on right after her. Let's see what it is. Because I'm like I said, I was all over the place this morning watching clips.
Why have men become princesses? Please explain. Because we're out here walking on eggshells, thinking, oh my God, if I say one wrong thing, he's going to run. If I am not feminine enough, if I'm not enough of a chase, he's going to run. Because they're like, no, I want it how I want it, when I want it. You know, I want to text you when I want to text you, I want to call you when I want to call you. And all of that is good and fine. But then if you're a little bit assertive as a woman, if you're like, you know, let's get to it, or what's the point? Or you call them out on something, they're like, okay, I'm going to move on to the next girl who hasn't called my bluff yet. And they are princesses. Like, they take what? Can they still take sarcasm? Where are the men? Where are they? I wonder. I think about it a lot because they have really been getting the princess treatment from women. Texting every day, good morning texts, good evening, good night. Girls, you're giving them the red carpet treatment, and what are you getting in return? You're getting ghosted and you're paying for your own drinks.
You're paying for your own drinks. Is that what this is all about?
oh, man, this girl, based off of this small uninformed clip, for me, lacks self-awareness. Like she really does not understand her what she's exuding out for the reaction that she's getting. You know, she's asking, where are all the men? That you could easily translate to, she's looking for
an archetype that she has built in her. What all of us do, not even just women, but even men, we create an individual in our mind that we believe to be ideal, and when we
No,
don't find that person,
I was gonna say that she's looking for solid masculinity, right? Right. Because if she's saying where's the men, it's because she's looking something a solid sense of masculinity from this man, which is this person's gonna take absolute and total responsibility. That's what she's looking for. So that way she doesn't have to take responsibility. That's what she's trying to communicate here. But then when she starts to utilize the benefits of being responsible, which means control, right? If you are responsible for something, you have certain levels of control. She starts to utilize certain control. She's not um, necessarily responding appropriately to the fact that she doesn't have as much as control because she avoided responsibility. So now she's upset when men don't react how she wants them to.
I mean, shit, she's a kid. That's a whole kid. I don't expect nothing different. I don't expect her to have that maturity. I don't expect her to think that way. She looks like she lives a life of privilege. She looked like her daddy gave her everything she ever wanted, just blinking them
So
eyelashes.
can we easily take that back to her parenting? Like they didn't parent her appropriately to be feminine amongst somebody masculine enough.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I'm not pitting my judgment of what I think femininity is, what I think good parenting is. I'm not pitting my judgment on that. I'm gonna just say I'm not surprised because she's young. And that's what most young people think. Like they think they don't really want too much accountability on too much shit. Like that's just how it is right now.
Yeah, but women weren't always this irresponsible. Because I mean, can we agree that she's being irresponsible at least?
Probably, absolutely.
Right,
But at the same time, no, because she's young. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Where's all these responsible young adults at? They're super responsible, and we all do and say dumb shit as a kid. I don't know, that's a kid. So kids say the darndest things to me.
Give her that pass because it almost implies that she's incapable of learning because she's young. Like she
I ain't
could
say that. I just say she's don't know. She will learn. That's all I'm saying. Like she don't know, she'll learn.
But she could have been educated appropriately from her parents how to deal or respond or approach this type of situation in their dating life.
No, because kids rebel and they're gonna do whatever they want to do. Now let's move on. Let's move on. She will learn. She will experience. She will learn. She will grow the fuck up. That is a part of her journey, baby. Like she's young. Shorty look like she's like 19. She's young. She will live. She will learn it. Hopefully, it don't take her forever. Because we all young and we all had our mindsets when we was 19.
Anybody want to join the channel? Click the link in the comments.
But everything she said was stupid. So there's that.
Be sure to hit that like and subscribe.
It would be like, you poor little stupid baby, that's not the way to think. And you would, first of all, you're never going to meet a man yet. You're just fucking with little boys. This is why you get in this situation. So,
okay.
I mean,
that go right to the next clip because the next clip ain't talking about little kids. It's talking about grown-ups.
Grown-ups.
You wonder why there's so many women in their 20s, 30s, 40s that are not in relationships
because they don't want to marry you because you bring no value to them. Actually, you could harm them. I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, it's not because you're choosing to be single. You're not. They just don't want to marry you, and they're not asking you anymore. Where are all the good guys at? They're running away from you, and they're definitely not marrying you. And the ones that have been married before, and then you go act like that again, they're really not marrying you. If you think they're gonna put up with you again, they're gonna act like it. They're not gonna actually call you them. If I can speak,
They're not ever going to call you their girlfriend. There's even a term for it now, situationship. 6 months in, and you've been sleeping with him forever, and he's just like, oh yeah, I don't know, I'm not in a good place right now. Yeah, he is. He just is not in that place with you. He's just waiting for something better to come along. You're just his piece of
Wu-Tang.
You know? Because he's waiting for a girl to be kind to him and sweet to him, because he's never ever going to get married again and settle and deal with that all over again.
They told us they were strong.
So that's something I want to address too, because you know, when women go through an experience and they learn from it, they call it growing, right? But
Right.
when men go through an experience and they learn from it, it's called bitter. I don't want to get married. I've been there, done that. I've been married. You're just bitter. Oh, she hurts you so bad. Look, you so bitter. Why you close your heart off to love? But a
I
woman,
think
like
I
I'm,
would call a
a
woman
woman saying,
bitter if
I'm done with marriage. You know, I'm gonna just work on myself. And girl, that's right. Get yourself together. You don't need no man. You gotta figure yourself out and just love yourself. But if a man do that shit, then you sassy. Yeah, that nigga, you heard he said he working on himself.
I don't think, I'm gonna be real, it don't be going like that. It goes a little something like this. Women say something that all right, listen, I'm working on myself because these N words ain't shit and da 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 da. I'm gonna say you're bitter because you ain't have to say none of that. You could have just said you're working on yourself and you're doing things better. You learn some things about yourself and where your flaws at. To me, that's learning and doing better. But as soon as you start shitting on someone else and try to up yourself, is where bitterness kicks in. Not all that other shit that people be going back and forth posting up on social media, because that's just they just venting or they inner self is talking. But when a man be like, yo, listen, I'm no longer eating a certain way, I'm no longer going out a certain way, I'm no longer wearing this no more, I'm carrying myself a certain way, that's supposed to get mad props for that. You supposed to get a thumbs up and high fives for that, attaboys for that. You're not. But if you end it with, and I'm doing this because bitches ain't shit, then yeah, we might gonna look at you like you're bitter.
Women in general, I mean, like this archetype that we're speaking about, I should say, they never expect that they're bitter. It's either, they're on their journey, they've been traumatized, and you need to be patient with them and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I was honest with my bitterness when I had my marital issues. I was honest. I said, look, I'm gonna prove that honesty is the worst policy. That was my mantra. I told the unequivocal truth with straight, no chaser, no tact, no nothing. I was like, blah, this the truth. I had nothing to say but the truth. Blah. And motherfuckers was like, I've never had anyone be so honest with me before. It's so refreshing. I was like, oh shit, for real. It was the craziest experience for me. But they had a comment. I want to go back up here. Women are too selective, trying to get a high value man. But there are 3% of them. Nobody talk high value women. I've never heard that phrase. But what a high value woman is in the man's ideal world is a woman that's not ran through. Let's just call it what it is. A woman that's attractive to that guy, because every man is attracted to something else. Some men like them like this. Some men like them like that. Some men like them like this, and in all different ways. You know what I'm saying? But in most men's mind, and I'm speaking for all men for right now, and y'all can get in the comments and say something different. But most men, the ideal woman is a woman that don't have a lot of miles on her vajayjay, with a whole bunch of different dudes. No one outside of the cornucopia industry values cornucopia women other than cornucopia men. You know what I'm saying? No one's saying, ooh, let me wife up what are they, Cherokee. I'm just she a throwback to show you how much I don't watch it. No one's trying to wipe her up. You know what I mean?
I mean, my response to that is that the beginning part of it, like there's the 3% of men are high value men, and women only want that. Bro, get used to it. Like that's those are not the women you want that keep their eyes on because it's not all women, right? It's like a whole 80-20 thing, right? 20% of the men are chosen by 80% of the women. That's just the reality. There's that 20% though. And
it's not because they got money all the time. I'm just saying that.
But this is where that fine line between compromise and settling comes in my opinion, and that fine line between reality and delusion. It's the idea that there are some, emphasis on some, not all, there are some men and women that, well, mostly women in the context I'm speaking, that'll say, I want a man that's blah, 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 blah. And if he doesn't have blah, 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 then I don't want him. And he can, instead of having blah, 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 that's 5 things, he may only have blah, 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 4 things. She'll say, he doesn't have the extra blah, so I'm not going to settle for him because he doesn't have that one extra blah. In the back chat, I had made it an example. I gave a scenario when I said, I was like, okay, ladies, there's a guy that's a retired Air Force. He's an astronaut now. He makes $300,000 a year. That's his salary. He owns 3 properties that all 3 properties total $2.5 million. He lives in one. He rents the other 2 out. He's well endowed. I just start saying all the pluses. And the very last thing was I said, and he's 5'6". Every single woman was like, "Oh, you done fucked it up. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. He's 5'6". I can't do it." That's just how they think, bro. It's like it's wild. Like, so all of the positive accolades didn't mean shit when he was 5'6".
I mean, I think we have to realize that a woman that does that is literally an immature woman. And like, because they don't see the long-term values, right? Maturity has a lot to do with you be able to perceive the values that will last and durate, right? If all she's focusing is on the short-term aspects of things, then she lacks maturity, right? And then
Then a
that's
lot
more,
of us lack maturity. Then
most women that are choosing.
When I mentioned that to them,
I mean, not women. Most of us. Most of us people.
When I made my counter to their reaction to them saying, "Oh, he's 5'6", I can't do it," I immediately hit them back with I countered with, "Well, why?" Like, like, and their answer is because attraction is important. And it's like, but he isn't in this department. His face card in the scenario I painted was cool. He was well endowed. He was putting it down. All of that was good. The only negative that was to this gentleman that I created in this story is that he was 5'6". And that alone was enough to disqualify everything the fuck else. Because in their minds, they were settling.
I don't understand that. I only understand that. I don't understand that. No, I just don't. I was about to say I understand it if that was a tall woman, like a tall woman, or I could say I could understand that in a protection point of view, like a hands to battle type situation. Like she might not feel protected because he's a small guy. But I'm 5'5". So if you 5'6", then you a head taller than me. That's fine with me. Like as long as you're not shorter than me, I'm cool. Because shorter than me means you're 5'4", you're 5'3", and I will feel like you're a dwarf.
If you're 5'5", a man that is 5'6" is, you see that first line in my finger? That's how much taller he is than you.
like I said, a head taller than me. That's
The
enough. That's enough. You could be my height. We could be head to head. But if I gotta look down, do you know what that do to the psyche? Looking down, like
now, granted, the women in that group that I was talking to were both tall women, 5'10" and 6 feet.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. All right, two situations. Like I
Yeah, the
said, the
general
protection, the feeling protection, and the fact that she might be tall. But to us short women, that should be fine.
the general rule for women, the general rule is that they just want their man taller than them. It's not so much they want them tall. That's that too, but the general rule that they tend to stick by is like taller than me.
Yes.
Specifically
Yes.
too, there's also this additional like taller than me while I'm on heels, right? Like because they want to be able to wear heels, and they don't want to be taller than their men when they wear heels. So therefore, that tends to be the general
I
rule.
don't care about that. Look, when I
I'm,
take them
I'm
heels off, that's the real me. Like real ish. But I could understand what you're saying because this is not about morphine. This is about a general standpoint. So for the women that are 5'5", 5'6", probably in heels, you're 5'6", 5'7", then yeah, I can understand you still want that man being taller than you. But in my preference, as long as you're taller than me and or my height, then we're cool. But if I gotta look down, then you are a dwarf.
Yeah, so most women that are on the shorter end of things tend to care less about height, right? But
Because
once you get
everybody's
into
taller than us. Yeah.
'cause exactly everybody taller than you anyway, so that's the last thing you're even thinking about.
Right.
But once you get average area of 5'9", 5'10" as a woman, you get a little bit pickier about it because you kind of have to because you're about. I mean, the average height of men is 5'9". So if you're 5'9", 5'10", you're right around the average man. So most men are shorter than you. So therefore, you're a lot more picky about it.
Are men understanding of that? Like, if you're talking to a woman that is 5'9", 5'10", and she's saying she doesn't want a man that is 5'6", how you not understand that? You can't
Me, spe-
control it, but you gotta
So,
understand it. Like
so
guys say they don't like dark skinned women. I'll be like, oh, all right, I'll move on. Like,
all right.
me,
all
So
right.
I looked it up right now, and globally, the whole Earth,
hmm
14% of men are 6 feet or taller.
Oh, really?
14% is around the entire African American population of the United States. So, so now take 40 million people, and now move 40 million to 7 billion. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I thought I heard
Shit, what
somebody
is the
doing.
ratio of women that are tall? Those are the ones that should want tall men. It was a
Okay,
woman
let's
that
see.
was tall, right? She was really, really tall. It was a skit or a video, and she was getting mad, and her rightful so she was rightfully so to get mad that a lot of short women. Oh my god!
We good?
She must have had an emergency pop off. But that was kind of hope everything is all good.
Yeah, and I mean, me personally, and I don't know, I don't think I've ever had that conversation with too many guys, but me personally, um, I prefer shorter women, anyways. I'm 5'8", and if I have to look up to you, I'm not liking that.
Man, I ain't never had a problem with it. I lost my V card to a woman that was taller than me. When I walked up behind her and gave her a hug,
Yeah,
her booty was in my stomach. I was like, ah.
the
But
mechanic, the mechanics of all. When she bend over,
I,
is she on my
I,
chest? I mean,
I,
like, what's
I just looked it up right now, and it says 2% of women around the world are 5'10" or taller.
yeah, okay.
2% of women around the world.
Yeah. So the majority of women are well below the height of the average man. So again, this whole 6 foot thing is a status thing. It has nothing to do with the actual attraction. It's this it's same thing with six figures. They don't know what a six-figure life is really going to give them. Most of these women that are saying that, right? But it's a status thing. My man makes six figures.
A,
My
a,
man.
a lot of it though too, as much as they love to say that they don't like to settle, a lot of instances, I'm not saying all, but a lot of instances when it comes to these particular niche requirements, 6-figure, 6 foot, six pack, being a non-black man, a lot of times that's the only requirement.
No, that's the
So
only part I gave him thought to, right?
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like
What?
he's 6 feet, but he ain't shit. But he said, hey, but he's 6 feet though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Again, that's that short-term focus, that immature focus. Um, the other aspects, they assume that that man's going to take responsibility to have those taken care of so they don't have to worry about it, right? There's this assumption that all I have to worry about is 6 feet, six pack, whatever, and him being someone of high integrity, him being able to manage a household, him being able to be loving and affectionate and romantic, and all these other things that they don't want to have to think about are already there. They're just not stating it explicitly, right? Because every woman that chases after this guy, whatever, for whatever reason, they get that perfect guy, whatever. The reason they end up leaving him is for all the other things that I mentioned, because they assumed it would be there. It's part of the package. If he has this physical criteria, then he has the package, because that's what comes with the man. Hence why they always stay. Um, he wasn't a real man, because their conceptualization of what a real man is all these nuances that we don't like to get into the weeds about. I don't know if that came off clear.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
uh,
Everything
I,
good?
yeah, everything's good. I will always say that. Oh, I'm sorry about that, you guys. But I got kids. You know they don't care about what you're doing. So I would say that I like I said, man, I just never understood why these guys got to have six figures and things like that. But I will say with a rebuttal, if said woman made six figures, like the first Kevin Samuels video that made him very viral, very mainstream. Well, she made six figures. She wasn't the best looking thing on the TV screen, but she made six figures, so she wanted someone that was equivalent to her. Now, I understood what he was saying, totally got it. But at the same time, I am in the marriage group, and the things that these men be complaining about would rise in this conversation that he was talking to her about when he was telling her to maybe, and she should, this was great advice, date lower. Like maybe you can get a man that makes 200K a year. Like maybe you're not going to get that. Maybe you got to get the $80,000 dude. Maybe you got to get the $90,000 dude. Maybe that's your lane. Maybe you might get the $50,000 dude. Maybe that's your lane. But when you get to that $50,000, $90,000, $80,000 dude that has this woman, he kind of feels insecure about her spending, her lifestyle, the things that she does, and the fact that she will be financing this whole lifestyle because their means of manhood is tethered to their wallet. So,
All right, so I just put her on the screen right now. I paused it. That's not the most flattering position to pause it in. But this
she don't
goes
got
to
no flattering fucking position. But go ahead.
Damn.
But this is the point of what we're saying in the show. So this woman is a six-figure earning woman. In her mind, she's a perfect 10. In her mind, what man wouldn't want me? Look, I have a career, I have a business, I earn good money, I got my own house, I bring all of these things to the table. But at the same time, attraction does matter. And I said that in the if you rewind it back to the beginning of the live, I said that same rule also applies to men. You can have all of this stuff going on. You could be CEO and all of this type of stuff too. There are women will smash you, but not because they like you, because they like your car, because they like your house, because if you slip up and put a baby in them, they get a depending on what state, but in California, they get upwards to 35% of your income for 18 years in child support.
Can I name the reason why men wouldn't find her appealing and it ain't got shit to do with her money? It's because she doesn't look good. Her face card declines every time. Now, when people started posting pictures of her body, I am not going to lie. It was definitely, she was fit. She is fit. She is, if you chop that head off, a nice fit. Minus the children that she had. So she is a nice fit. But that face card decline, and like my host, Tim said, attraction matters, man. You know what I mean?
So this is a point on the other side. Dudes be like, man, she used to be bad when she was in high school. She fell off. But this how the dude look now. He look like this now, talking that shit. Yeah, she used to be bad when she was in high school. Like, look, I bet you looked a lot different when you was in high school too, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear looking like fire.
Is it just me, or does Tate come to mind looking at this?
No, so I'm saying he don't hear looking like Friar Tuck. You know what I'm saying?
You know, like what the Kevin Samuels thing. I just thought that he did give her a very good advice. You know, Miss Lady, you want to have to date down. You want to come down on them numbers. You want to come down on them numbers because them numbers are a little too high. And then she did have to understand that she wasn't the best looking. You ain't the worst looking, Miss Lady. You're not. You're not. You're just not the best looking. And that has a shallowness and a message in itself. She missed it. Most fucking women missed
got a good point.
All these women talking about women's value have been trying to F them since teenage years. Most cry when they can't get them cakes. Well,
that's the dude in the meme right here. That's the dude on the meme. She used to be bad when she was in high school, man. She done fell off. Like he ain't fell off. Like he got.
I got a thing for. I always thought that the women that complain about men couldn't get the men couldn't get the boys that they wanted in high school and in college. And the men that couldn't get the women that complained about the women couldn't get the woman in college and high school as either. So they're complaining about each other. They couldn't get each other, which they should go get each other now. Shit, stop bitching. Yes, I said it on YouTube. Stop itching, dang it, and go to each other. The nerd, date the nerds. The baby fathers, date the baby mamas. Y'all on same levels.
Nah. You gotta remember. Wale said it best. Bad girls ain't no good. Good girls ain't no fun. The hood girls want the smart dude. College girl all want a thug. So we fiend for what we don't need. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that was some bars. That was bars. What was you about to play?
Yeah, I was gonna just, carry on in all the clips I have.
Don't do wife duties.
Okay, wife duties. So wife duties and husband duties. So this is a single person telling other single people how to date because they're successful at it because they're single.
I think that's oxymoron, but let's go.
With someone before they make you their wife, or a long-term relationship, whatever you want to call it, that is sleeping with someone, that is creating comfort in their home, and that is cooking their meals. Don't do that. It's a female manipulation. What you're trying to do there is you're trying to overperform wife duties in order to get husband duties from him. So when you do all those three things, you're expecting provision. and protection from him, but don't do that. He's not your husband, and it's going to leave you with an exchange-like relationship before having agreed to the fact that you guys are life partners. So you would have overperformed these wife duties. He's accepted them, and then when he doesn't give you the protection and provision that you were trying to so elegantly manipulate him into, you are shocked and you're upset. Don't do those things unless someone has given you that title or has had that conversation or has moved forward with that. If you want to cook for him, go to restaurants, cook for your friends, do it in an atmosphere of everybody else doing it. You don't owe him to sleep with him. You don't owe him to make comfort in his home. And if you do those things, that's off your own back, and don't expect for him to provide for you, to pay your bills, or to look after you.
I completely disagree for marriage. You earn the ring.
All right, so hey,
You earned the ring before you get it.
I
I agree to that. Somebody grounded me
I
up
wanna
for that.
I wanna show everybody just how ridiculous this sounds by gender swapping this message. Fellas, don't do husband duties if she's not your wife. I don't care how long you've been dating, bro. If she got a flat tire, she better have AAA. Don't go out there and help her change her tire. She not your wife. That's not your job as her boyfriend to go make sure that she's straight. And how ridiculous does that sound?
Walk on the inside. Leave that road for her.
Right. like how stupid does that sound?
I think what she did convey that was accurate was the concept of manipulation, right?
Yeah, that's what I would agree to,
And
Maurice.
he conveyed that the reason the woman was doing the wifely duties was the attempt to manipulate him into accepting her as this wifey.
But
That's
that's
what.
not
So
limited to just female gender.
yeah, if you're going to cook or do quote unquote wifely duties, it can't be for the purpose of manipulating him into becoming a husband.
But
Right. I mean,
isn't that what women
that's the
do?
same. But that's the same thing though. If you're her guy and she got a flat tire, you can't go change her tire to manipulate her to be your wife. It has to be, and there has to be genuine sentiment, of course. But that's the whole bigger picture and the bigger point is that it's the genuine intent. That's the point.
See,
If you're going into the situation with a preconceived notion of I'm doing this with the intent of having XYZ, which is actually true. Most people date with the intention to get married. It's never conveyed, and I think that's a big part of relationships where people fail all the time. They don't express their expectations. But at the end of the
Absolutely.
day, dating is a prerequisite to what your married life is going to be. The person that you show up on when you dating is supposed to continue and go above and beyond what you were already doing when you were dating. You're
Yeah,
supposed to have
right.
full commitment.
Yeah, what people need to understand is like when you go into a relationship, you need to be looking for reciprocation, right? You can't be in a relationship where you're doing all this stuff and you're not getting adequate,
Reciprocity, right?
right? Reciprocation is important. It's necessary for a functioning relationship. But
Right.
concept of manipulation, right? There's an element of control, right? That means whatever you're expecting wasn't appropriately negotiated. Like you're trying to lead this person along unwillingly, right? There's a certain attitude where reciprocation, this person fully knows what they're offering you and they've accepted. There's an element of consent here. So that concept of manipulation is heavy, very heavy in this example.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think that's the last video clip that I have. But I got a funny one of this is basically what your mouth can. Yes, and don't let your mouth write a check that your ass can cash.
That part.
So it says on the date, she's saying, so you see, I don't need a man to pay or do anything for me. Bruh's like, I understand. The waiter, will there be anything else you need, sir? Yeah, 2 separate checks, please. You just said you don't need a man pay or do nothing for you, right, baby?
But in the same sense, that man's got to expect too. There ain't gonna be another date. Like,
Right. Ain't gonna be no cheeks clapping either.
yeah. I mean, you threw it away. I mean, I think that's also some wild expectation that some men have after they pull that card. They think they still got a chance. Like, you understand that woman stated where she was. You stated that you're not gonna fall. You're not gonna placate to that, and then you essentially set certain guidelines and of what it is, and you both disagree. If you both disagree, there's no relationship. Move on.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
no compatibility. Don't
Yeah.
get mad because there's no compatibility. Don't force it. Don't be just there's no. That's on both sides though, Maurice. I think both
Yeah.
sides can force a compatibility where there isn't none. Let it go. And don't be
But
scared. Don't let these motherfuckers scare you into the fact that you have to be in a relationship for because you're older, you are single. But like, no, don't force it. Just let it go.
Ooh, and that goes right to the clip I'm getting ready to play now. Because the
but
clip I'm getting ready to play now, after you speak, Maurice, I'm gonna play this clip. Go ahead.
like, yeah. I mean, in that example, this cartoon that just passed by, the the woman started off with nonsense that compared to what he was thinking, right? Because she's starting off with the nonsense. She drew a hard boundary, and being a masculine man, respect that boundary and understand if I can't permeate this boundary because that's your limits, walk away. And she needs to accept, oh shoot, if I draw boundaries, that means I'm going to be excluding a certain aspect of people out of my life. And that's what I'm actually
Absolutely.
looking
And that's what I was telling you earlier, Morphine, on when we were on the call. I said a woman's presentation determines a man's approach.
for.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
I think women need
So
to before you play this clip, I think women need to stop saying you don't need a man. Because
right.
No,
that's some strong allegations. And I think men never need to say you don't need a woman to retaliate in women saying they don't need a man because you look as weak as she do.
no, no, no. Women that believe they don't need a man need to state that they don't need a man so that they can shoo away the men that want to be needed. Period.
You shouldn't want to be needed. You shouldn't
As
want
a
to be needed. You should not.
no,
I don't get that from no
no,
one. I don't care. You should not want to be needed.
no. So, I mean, I don't
Because
want to derail.
you should want to be
No, I got
desired.
no. I don't even want to play this clip now because this clip kind of is off topic from what you just said.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the idea of not wanting to be needed is the same notion of a particular sense of validation. So, with that being said, a woman shouldn't need a man to give her affirmations either. You shouldn't need affirmations. You shouldn't
No,
need your
not,
husband to say or your boyfriend to say, "You're so beautiful. I love you so much." You shouldn't need that.
yeah. Once we start talking in this realm, we've eliminated the purpose of a relationship.
Right.
We need each other, right? In order for a relationship to happen, if you're saying relationships are important to the livelihood of human beings, that is
Right.
literally saying we need each other.
Right.
When
It's
I
a part
say
of the
when
human
I
condition.
say when I say that we should stop saying that we don't need each other, it promotes the fact that you want each other, you desire each other.
No, 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 not
That presents the need in that self because you need that desire. You want that
not
person.
want, not desire, need,
From
need.
from 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 a solely primitive standpoint, we need each other.
Yes,
Women need men and men need women. Otherwise, the human race would cease to exist.
there's a need. Relate. No,
That is
we,
that is a
we don't.
need.
We don't. In order for a human society to
Okay.
function, in
Just
order
close
for
the
the
door,
perfect
lock it.
balance of everything,
No.
we need each other to be able to balance off each other appropriately. It like you really think this world functions without the both of us? When it messes up is when people start playing roles they're not supposed to play, and then thing gets wonky.
I just
But
think that in a relationship, we desire each other, and that desire brings forth a need for each other.
no. Need comes before desire.
I don't think so. Not in this dating sphere.
The
There is
desire,
no need. There is no
the,
need that became before desire.
no,
In
there's a
in a
desire.
regular relationship process, there was no need that became before desire. You desired
See,
something before you
What's
no,
needed
the
something.
see, the
if it's
difference
not
is
need?
the difference, Morphine, is in the context you're talking about in today's modern society. What people need is the assistance, but they don't want the relationship that comes
Yeah,
with
Yeah.
it.
There you go. There you
They
go. Absolutely.
we need each other to supplement each other's income because we live in an economy where doing it by yourself is freaking ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But we don't want the relationship with each other.
yeah. That's accurate.
That's very
Yeah,
accurate.
I need you to help me pay these bills, but I don't want to be with you. Make it make sense. But that's
no,
the reality that we live
no,
in now.
is I think we've developed this unhealthy habit of falling in love with the gift, not the gift giver. Right? What this
I
man
can agree
can
to that.
Yeah, what this man or this woman provides me is a wonderful, beautiful gift, whatever that is. But the gift only exists because I can get it from the gift giver. So we've fallen in love with the gifts and have neglected the gift giver.
I would agree with that. We all have. Definitely women because we're able to do a lot of things that men still hold dear to their manhood by ourselves. and like Tim, my wonderful average man pointed out, men actually need us as much as we need them right now. Financially, that's definitely a financial need to actually have both households even even get close to a middle income or middle class income. I think this hyper what do you call it, hyper individuality,
Individualism, hyper individualism.
hyper individualism that we all have, especially in the Black community, is crazy. And I, like I said, and I say before, I stated this. I just think that we need to stop saying that we don't need. I don't need a man. Stop saying that. Like, stop saying we don't need each other. You can say we desire each other, or you whatever the fuck you want to swindle that shit into, but stop saying that first.
I'm gonna take it back to what I said. The women that believe that they don't need a man need to continue saying it, so that they understand what it means to not need a man. Because
I agree with that.
they need to continue saying it until they don't believe it anymore. Then they'll be
Right.
convicted and why they need a man.
Right. Because they don't even, the thing about it is like they don't, like I mentioned earlier in the show, a lot of times women in general don't like when men compare them to inanimate objects. But by making that demarcation between want and need is similar in my opinion, because saying you don't need a man, you want a man, it's like saying I don't need this expensive purse, I want it. So life will go on without it, but if I get it, cool. That's the false equivalent. And the same way that they try to say with like we talked about the Porsche, the Ferrari or whatever, like they'll say that's a false equivalent. Uh, I can somewhat agree, but you have to look at the notion. So if the notion is it's okay, you've been living by yourself all of this time and making it alone, so you technically don't need a man to come and do nothing for you, but you want one. The same thing applies with the inanimate object, the Ferrari. I want to drive a Ferrari, but I don't want to own one because of the hassle that comes with owning one. I don't want to own a Bugatti because of the hassle that comes with owning one.
I think I'm gonna be real with y'all. They don't even go as far as the extreme of comparing women to Bugattis and expensive lavish cars. It's just a new car versus the old car, and or a used car versus a new car. It just be as general as that or as simple as that. And
And that's ridiculous because these dudes forget that they're also a used car. You
They don't
don't.
think men can be used sexually.
Nah. Hey,
Like men can never
hey,
be
look. Hey,
overused
look.
sexually.
No, no.
Even though
And
we just had a whole
that
argument in the
that
beginning
is whole.
that men
Now,
are.
now back. Hold on. Let me call my cap because y'all gonna call me a simp, hater. I don't give a f. I am speaking facts, and men are. We gonna stand on. We the more logical and factual of the genders, right? Fact. As we age, we produce less testosterone. We have our prostate starts to enlarge. We have lower libidos. There are things we can do to offset it, but we cannot stop it. It is a part of it. When I was younger, I didn't need these glasses. Guess what? As I age, my vision is becoming impaired. It is a part of the human condition. So the same way that y'all saying women got all of these miles and breakdown, guess what? You are a human being the same way that woman is a human being and have the same issues with you too. Stop thinking you're superior for whatever freaking reason because you got a good job and you make $10.
Let me push at that a little bit, just a little bit. Push at it. There's a whole difference in the body versus busting a nut and pushing out a child. Okay, so let's aim this thing appropriately, right? You're talking about the use aspect. A man busting a nut, he could bust a nut 3, 4, 5 times a day, right? A woman having a push a whole baby out her body, that's a whole emotional, physiological change this woman's going through, right? So the toll in that aspect is not the same. I'm not disagreeing that everything that you said as far as like the lower testosterone and all these
Man,
other
in fact, the
it's
fact of the matter is a flask penis can still ejaculate. So just because you can make a baby don't mean you are a man's man because you can ski. A flask penis can still ejaculate. So that's what I'm saying. We still deep the same way that she get older and her things used to sit up like this and now they hang and one hang a little lower than the other one. We have deficiencies the same way. We are not superior in that sense. We are human beings that break down the same way they are human beings that break down. The same way, like I said, we can offset it. We can exercise. We can change our diet. They can exercise. They can change their diet. We live in a time now where there's technological advancements to where we can take pills and still be strong like bull. They can go get surgeries and lift this up and flip that up and fold that. Yes, but at the end of the day, it only goes so far.
Yeah, but again, the rate's not the same, which is what the comparison really is.
What is not the same?
The rate of decline. He's talking about the decline of humanity. We decline as we get older, but the rate of decline is not the same. Women decline quicker at a quicker rate.
No. Women live all longer than us. we have a whole shorter lifespan than them.
The title of the show is sexual market value. That's what we're talking about.
This is true.
We're not talking about longevity. Women do live longer than.
Now, when it comes to sexual marketplace value, again, I'm calling a spade a spade. At unless you keep up a certain level of attraction, despite the gender, the value you see in yourself is not necessarily the value that the external person is going to see in you. And that's just the fact of the matter. Like with the girl from the Kevin Samuels joint. She saw herself like, boom, I make six. I'm a business owner. I make 6 figures. I make $100,000 a year. I'm in shape. Blah blah blah. Most dudes look at her and be like, "I'll smash."
Yeah, well, yeah. But
that's the furthest they'll see her value, because they won't see the value and all that other stuff. Just being on that superficial level, not even taking into consideration she may be on a personality level a wonderful freaking woman. She may be funny. She may have what you call it, instincts, maternal instincts.
No, she wasn't.
You know what I mean? But yeah, we coming up on the last 15 minutes. So if you guys want to, I'm like, I made my point. Unless you guys got something else you guys want to say, we can.
Well, yeah, we can go around with the last comments. We
Oh, no, I did have one more video. So that video has something to do with something you said earlier that I forgot. What did you say? A part
I said
about
so much.
I think it was like not needing a man to the point to where they okay with leaving or something like that. You said earlier.
But you're ready for divorce. But you're ready for divorce. You're not a bad person. So don't let guilt get the best of you. You're not doing him any favors by staying. If anything, you're actually going to start building up resentment. Your relationship doesn't have to be toxic to validate your feelings of wanting to leave. Think of it this way. If he's a good guy, he deserves to be happy. That means he deserves to be with somebody who values him and wants him just the way he is. If that's not you, you got to let him go. He may not see it like this right now, but you're doing both of you a favor.
You need help.
Florida family law tip of the day. Governor DeSantis did sign the alimony reform bill yesterday.
Okay, so the message she was speaking in that first video is she was encouraging women to divorce their husbands. And even if he was a good guy, and there is nothing wrong with it if you just fell out of love with him. Why stay if you don't love him no more? It's okay. He may be a great guy. He did nothing wrong. He's not abusive. He loves you unconditionally with all his heart. But fuck all that. You're not happy and you want to leave, and that's okay.
I ain't say. I know what I said. I said something about compatibility. Marie said something about not forcing something in the beginning, and I think this is where something was forced, and now you're in a marriage and you're still uncompatible, so you can't force this compatibility. But I don't think you should force compatibility, but you're married already. You already forced compatibility. Like
as a person that's been married 15 years and a total relationship of 20 years, I didn't get that from there. What I got from that is when you and that person got together, you were one person. And now over all of these years, you've grown, and now you don't want to be with that person no more. And that's okay. But my take on it, this is my opinion. You could take it with a grain of salt. That's a reflection of the lack of a relationship that was there, because why you didn't grow together? Why?
Well, we just said the same thing.
Yeah. How are you
in a different way?
Yeah, compatibility. Yeah. Because
it's still compatibility. Like the compatibility was lost. Like how did you not gain
together?
More compatibility or gain different compatibility in the years to come? So you forced compatibility in the beginning where Maurice said not to, and I agreed. And then you're married years later after forcing compatibility. Notice you can't force this shit no more. So now you're out. Now let's go to the marriage group. I was in a marriage group. I see a lot of things. There are men saying the same shit. She was thinner after the baby. The baby changed her. The attitude is this. Well, before there isn't no baby, but after 5-6 years, I just want something different. Like I want to chase, or they want romance. Something that the other lady, the younger girl said, the princess treatment. Like, I don't call that a princess treatment. I would never call that a princess treatment. I will always say, who the hell said that men don't like to be romanced them damn selves? Like, who said that? Men like romance. They're the creators of romance, so they gotta like it. So
right. I'll put this picture up.
I think it's a falsality in itself. Like to think that men don't want to be romanced by their woman. but you should be romancing him too. And you know, there's a force of compatibility in that meet in that video.
Right.
Don't
Well,
force it, man.
I put this picture up because it's to the point to like what you were saying earlier, how men be like, well, before the baby, she was better, she was shaped different, blah, 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 blah. Dude, you don't look the same for the beginning of the relationship either.
Mm-mm.
Let's not, and this is the mindset that my whole stop the cap is about. Is it's this notion that even though you as a man, you know, because the what's Mugabe shit, milk and wine, men age like wine, women age like milk.
Right.
You know, oh, okay, milk and wine. So men aging like wine is getting a beer belly, going bald. That's aging like wine, losing your hair. Knock it off. You know what I mean? I just can't roll with that. Certain
Like
we
you
become
said,
attracted, we
losing your
become attracted,
eyesight, just getting
right?
older.
Losing we do gain attractions in different areas that we as men tend to believe that women find desirable. We become more financially secure, we become more mature, we become more understanding, and all of these other things that women wish we had when we were younger, which is why that cliche that women tend to be attracted to older men is there. And that's why a lot of older men believe they can pull younger women because of that notion and that idea. But we don't
And
live
see,
in
you
those
hear a
days.
younger woman like you just
We
put
don't
on
live
earlier,
we don't live
and
in
she say
right,
that dumb shit.
but we don't live in that type of society anymore. We live in see, you can't use presentism. You can't you and in the other, I'm actually said it back. Whatever the opposite of presentism is, because we can't be in the present and then try to apply historical uh traditions and social norms to our present society. You can't, you know, we can romanticize them all day long, but the fact of the matter is that in 2024, women are in a completely different space than they were in 1924. Even in 1980, 1990, women are in a completely different position now than they were then. So you can't use those references and dynamics to try to draw a point, because unfortunately we do live in a society to where being a provider and all of that, though it's wanted, they want more than that. Is in the back chat a while ago, I did a post where I was talking about uh the happiness is contingent on a person's ability to be satisfied. And you know, men have this saying that you can never satisfy a woman. So if you can never satisfy a woman and happiness is contingent on satisfaction, women can never be happy. And I mean, I'm done. I'm done. We can sign off with that, baby.
Women would never be happy because we yeah, we
no,
get it all
no,
right.
no. More, go ahead, Maurice. I'm just saying, I'm through. I'm through with it,
Like,
Maurice.
you know what? I interrupt me, write down some notes just so I can be ready. But based off this clip, the first thing it kind of shocked me was her nonchalance attitude with vows of marriage. Um, and it just shows how much it means nothing. It almost even reinforces the concept that men have been pushing around: don't get married, because it's not what you think it is. Because this is how they see it, right? I'm saying they, the ambivalence they of this
Yeah.
modern.
We get it. Ain't nobody objecting.
Yeah. So if that's how they see it, then there's no point in marrying. Keep pimping, player. I mean, why not, right? Um, and again, I mean, I appreciate the call outs for all the things that you said about the compatibility issues in the beginning. Like, a lot of the stuff should have been worked out in the beginning. There was definitely a lot of forcing that was happening. People eating and tolerating stuff without actually stating what they want from the other person. It was probably a breakup that should have happened a long time ago, but never wanted to accept that because, was it that whole X factor when it hurts so bad.
Did you put that in your notes? The song, like
that was off the cuff right there. That was,
okay,
so
okay.
the inability to resolve conflicts. Like, she didn't even mention that there was a conflict, right? This is pure gut feeling.
Right. Or what the conflict was. Go ahead.
Yeah, you just feel out of love and you don't feel like there's any, you're not an evil person for this. Right? There's this lack of responsibility, lack of duty, lack of attachment. It's quite psychopathic. Like, we're talking about the greatest form of commitment you can to another person. And the way she's talking about it with no emotion, if anything, she's telling you not to feel anything. That is psychopathic by definition. Right?
That's
So,
exactly what she said. Not to feel away.
yes, I mean,
you don't even if she said even if he's a good guy and all of that, you don't got to feel bad.
Don't feel away. You're doing the right thing.
Hey,
and you were talking about how women change. Women have changed from women of yesteryear, right? And yes, 100% true. They've changed, but in the same sense, they haven't changed. They've changed in their ability to access, right? The modern world has given access to women more than they were able to obtain in previous times. But women on core nature still haven't changed. They're still quite hypergamous, right? And they're still in this whole trying to be satisfied and unable to be satiated, right? I mean, this is a certain aspect of women that's always existed, but it's always a comparative satiation, right? The whole keeping up with the Joneses concept, right? The whole Instagramnology of life. I want to go to Dubai. I want to go to Tokyo. I want to go to the Maldives. I'm gonna get me somebody that can do that. If I can't get somebody to do it, I'm gonna do it myself. And they have access more than they've had before. So that's what makes them different. But they're very much the same type of woman, biologically speaking, in the ways that they're hypergamous. So even if they can access these certain things, they still have this innate desire to want something masculine. But yeah, I'm not playing with that one.
But something when you brought up that X Factor, that Lauryn Hill, what's crazy is that a man could remake that song and cover that song right now, and it would 100% apply to men.
Oh yeah, of course. 100%,
like 100%, right? Like I'm sitting here, I'm singing the song in my head. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I started singing as soon as he said it. Like, I was thinking about the lyrics, and I'm like, oh wow.
This is a sentiment that men have. That's what's interesting. Like, that song is like 22 years old, and that song.
But I said that from the beginning of the live. Everything that men are saying today is what women said yesteryear. They feel the same way. They don't see each other's points, and I think that shit is not delusional, just straight up disingenuous on both parties. Because they should be able to see, a woman should be able to see what a man is saying because you lived it, and a man should be able to see what a woman is saying because you're living it. So
right, because like the online space, because the online space, that's how relationships are presented. Men are literally saying, no matter how I think we grow, you seem to always let me know it ain't working. That's real shit.
That's it.
And when I try to walk away, you hurt yourself to make me stay. You shame me and shit. You shame men. Oh, you ain't a real man. You try to shame me and hurt yourself to make me stay. It's crazy.
No, it's that the hurt yourself is not men ain't shit. The hurt yourself is I was a victim. I was abused. I did this. You always make yourself sound like you ain't had no choice, but the choice was taken to you, took it from you. So I get what how it applies to men in that way. Because
No,
no woman, you had a choice. It's
hold
a
on.
lot of things I can say about that, but I'm gonna have to let you go. I would say this to the live. Hold it down for me, Tim and Maurice. But I agree. 60%
Now
of what you say.
we about to
40,
shut it down. We at the 2 hour mark anyway.
well, I'm gonna have to go before we get the last remarks, but this is my last remark. I agree with 60% of what the fellas is saying, and my 40% is only reserved for the fact that a lot of women, like I said, should date single fathers. If you're a single mom, you should date a single father. If you are a virgin, maybe you should date a virgin. I just think that these things are evenly yoked, and I also think that a lot of women are very delusional at what they want. If you're 5'6", if you're 5'5", a 5'6" man is taller than you, shorty. He's a tall man, and I end that with that. For you, not in general, just to you, because you're short.
All right. All right. So closing remarks. We at the 2 hour mark. I want to thank everybody that's on the live that stuck with us the whole 2 hours. Thank you so much. And please hit the like and subscribe. You have no idea how valuable you are to me and Morphine. We thank you so much. Go ahead, Maurice, and do your sign out. Let people know where they can find you and what's pop locking with you and all of that jazz.
Yeah, come check me out on my YouTube channel. That's Maxi Studio Music, spelled like you see it. If you can't see it, it's spelled lowercase M-A, capital X, lowercase S-I, Studio Music. Check your spell check. It likes to say Maxis, so make sure it says Maxi. Yeah, check me out. I got some music on my channel, some original joints. I love to hear what people have to say about it. So comment, like, subscribe, do that YouTube thing.
Right on, right on. And as always, you can catch us on Mondays at I don't know what time zone y'all in. So 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Pacific time. So 8 p.m. Eastern. Give or take. We might be a half hour earlier. We might be a half hour later. We on colored people time and all of that jazz. But again, I want to thank everybody for that tuned in and stuck through with us. And until the next time. Let me verse what I'm